Welcome to the introduction to my new series, Ogden Tales. Hi, my name is William Alfred Council, and I am a digital artist, writer. I did my internship with Marvel Comics under editor Gregory Wright. Um, those of those of you that remember Marvel's Masterwork series, I did work on that Captain of the Captain America, and I was mentioned by my nickname at Marvel Comics, Chili Willy. It's one of those things I tried to forget. Um, in Nick Fury, Agent of Shield, I believe it was like number 4. It's the cover where Nick is tied to a cross with his hands behind his back. Now, since ending my internship with Marvel, I went on to create my own comic company called Zephaniah Comics. I'm doing these videos in a different order than the publication of my titles. So I'm starting first with Ogden Tales. Now, Ogden Tales was inspired by one of my closest friends going to the hospital with COVID. Um, I wanted to do something to honor her, sort of to give her flowers while she was living. Um, Now she fully recovered from COVID, and is doing well. I spoke with her the other day, but earlier in the year, I wasn't so sure. So I created a character named Amy D that was her fictional grandchild. And so I started working on that comic. And then, I had the backstory in my head. I said, all right, you know, this doesn't feel right starting with this character in a world that hasn't been fully shaped. So I backpedaled. Amy D is in the future of this title. COVID-19 is in the future. Right now, we are a couple of months before the world really goes sideways, at least in comic terms. This is similar to Marvel Comics' New Universe in the 1990s. You had Starbrand, Spitfire. Um, okay, those are the only titles I can name off the top of my head. Um, that series was inspired by Watchmen, in which it looked at comic book characters in a world closer to our own. One of the things with conventional comics, now I am a mild-mannered reporter. Now I'm ready to save the day. Secret identities are usually more complicated in the real world. So in Ogden Tales, um, it's set in a fictional version of Ogden, Utah. But the story is not going to stay tied to Ogden, and honestly, not the United States. I'm not going to do spoilers, but there might be a space adventure and there might be power armor in somebody's future. Now, another one of the differences with Ogden Tales over the Zephaniah Chronicles is that Ogden Tales has a fairly familiar star. I use DAS 3D to create my characters, and they have this technology where if you import a picture of a person, you can create a digital avatar. And so this is my digital avatar. Obviously, I kind of made some changes, but it's the idea of what would you do if you had superhuman abilities or technology. When I was growing up, my brother and I played a game called Villains and Vigilantes. Unlike the other superhero role playing games of that day, Marvel, DC had their own versions. With Villains and Vigilantes, you played yourself. You put in your actual weight or your desired weight, and you and your friends really got to be heroes. And those adventures matured, evolved, changed, and that a lot of what you see or will see in the Zephaniah comics universe grew out of Villains and Vigilantes when I was growing up. Ogden is based on a different thinkology. One of my favorite authors is Jorge Luis Borges. Another one is Gabriel Garcia Marquez, A Hundred Years of Solitude. Both of those authors, they have a lot of nuances, but one of the things they like to do is to have the author meet their creation. And I'm not going to go as far as they go in their stories, but there's going to be some interesting moments if slash when my digital avatar meets Zephaniah and that universe. All right, so that's on the table. We have myself as the lead character in Ogden Tales. Um, this may or may not be a digital representation of my house. That is not my, those my numbers. So I teach online. I had a highly techie student that was able to pull up my house with Google Maps when I gave them my address. It wasn't creepy at all. All right, so I am one of the main characters. Now, Charles Dickens, one of his most famous works is A Tale of Two Cities. It was the best of time, it was the worst of times, which honestly is straight out of Ecclesiastes in the Bible. Ogden Tales opens with a trilogy, A Tale of Three Earths. We have three different Earths. You have their Earth 43, Earth sucked with another, and Earth 13. None of those Earths are the Zephaniah Comics Prime universe. So this is elsewhere in the multiverse. We will be stopping and spending time on each of these Earths to learn what is going on with them, to learn what is similar and what is different. Now, our story in issue 1 begins with William receiving a phone call and a PayPal deposit from a woman named Lady Q from Vienna, Austria. So she pays his way all the way from Ogden, Utah to Vienna to help her with a project or help her with a case. Her protege, Ajuna, is missing. And she hires my character to go look for her missing protege. One of the things little bit out of sequence with my PowerPoint is yes, in these Ogden Tales, I am a detective. And I have a faithful companion named Fidelis. Um, she is not a transformer, but there is possibly more to her than meets the eye. What trouble can Fidelis and myself find in another country like Vienna, Austria? That is revealed in Ogden Tales. Thank you so much for watching this brief introductory video. As always, be well, be safe, be the you that you desire to be.